We're in the 90s in the automation campaign, and I'm about to unleash the car that started it all. I've teased about the remaster of the Ueno Quartz S-Type about a few months ago, and we'll see how well it sells in automation and drives in BeamNG Drive. Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, and let's continue managing my car company in the year of 1994 on a January. Which we're doing pretty well with our 3 cars on here, starting with the station wagon, the Ueno Tribial, then the Gen 3 Ueno Quartz, and our K car, the Ueno Tani, not the Tani as I used to call it in the last video. So probably be making a 4th car to a lineup. I'm probably thinking about making a minivan on here. So first things first, let's go to Model 1 and create, let's start off with the Gen 4 Quartz and then with the other cars along the way too later on. So the Gen 4 Quartz uses this legacy mod body from back in 2021 when I first made this car. This 2.64 meter wheelbase body that we're going to be choosing here. And seeing that we got over $9 billion in the bank and still making hell amount of buck for our other cars, I'm gonna go a little bit on the aggression with my spending for the sake of weight, quality, and everything else in general. So like I thought, or want to do, so panel material will be made out of partial aluminum, again, monocoque as per usual, made out of corrosion-resistant steel for the chassis material. And one more time for the quartz is to use for the engine placement a front longitudinal. I want to get in with the front transverse, but seeing the car I made back in the day used front longitudinal, have pretty much no choice but to do so. The front suspension will be made out of a double wishbone, and the rear is a multi-link. Even though we're not familiar with this whatsoever, but we got to get to learning no matter what. For the engine, of course, it will be an inline 6, not a 5. So looking back at the car and the engine, it's a cast iron block material with the bore. It looks like it's 85 millimeters for the bore, and I did lower this to like a 72.5? No, it's 79 millimeters because I want to use this engine for possibly like a pure sports car in the early 2000s. So the true engine size, pretty much the grandfather engine size, is 2,690 cubic centimeters, or about 2.7 liters for the main engine. This one has a 2.4 liter engine with a dual overcam 4 valves per cylinder made of aluminum. And I believe it's 82 for the variant capacity, and just lower this to 60 millimeters? No? I meant 75 millimeters. Yes, 82 bore, I believe. Yes, 82 millimeter bore with a stroke at 75 millimeters to get the true 2.4 liters engine size of 2,376 cubic centimeters, or like I said, 2.4 liters. This is what I used for the Ueno Quartz back in the day. So forged everything. So I guess forged everything because this will be the performance model engine that I'm going to be using for the S-Type, and probably a detuned, more basic casty versions for the SL, SC, and this and that models of the car. And this will be turbocharged, and seeing that I never had VVT for the last engine, my original build, I might as well, for the sake of being familiar and being in the sake of this technology this year and everything this era. VVT for the intake, and 7,000 RPM this revved up to, I believe. And yes sir, it'll be turbocharged, but a single turbo setup, just like in the old days. I believe standard ball bearing, I believe, and detune the boost quite a bit, and we'll figure this out a little bit later. The fuel system will be, of course, multi-point with a single for now, performance mid, probably premium fuel for the heck of knocking everything, seeing that it's a little bit more difficult, more realistic in terms of building an engine and everything. So exhaust diameter, 2.25 inches with a high flow 3-way cat, straight through everything, and a little bit of turbo lag, don't you agree? And even too, with the sake of this engine that has turned into a nuclear explosion. What I'm willing to do with this engine here, seeing that it's in the 1990s, and there was a thing for Japan, seeing that Ueno's a JDM car company, that there was a power limit back in the day called the Gentleman's Agreement, which was basically a loose form of agreement with all the Japanese manufacturers of not having a power limit more than 276 horsepower and about 180 kilometers for their top speed, to reduce the chance of the Japanese government from cracking down on automakers, of putting more stricter laws into place and doing all that stuff, especially with the rise of car culture, street racing, everything else going on in general back in the day at that time in Japan. So for the final tune in this car, I did get a fairly decent turbocharger set up to the point where it really kicks in around 2300 RPM. And we do get a horsepower rating, also changes up to a throttle per cylinder, horsepower rating of the gentleman ingredient requirement, 276 horsepower at 6400 RPM, of a torque rating of 272.1 pounds-feet of torque at 4400 RPM. And this will apply only for the top-of-the-line S-Type models for this particular engine and throughout the company if I were to replicate and use this engine on my other cars that I could be building throughout this video. And just like back in the day with the family engine name, we'll call Family 1 the FZ Series, and variant name, of course, FZ24ST for the single turbo setup, and the Gentleman's Agreement Act, the GA. So now, we'll first of all change the valve cover design. That's more like it. Let's give you a listen to what this powerful Gentleman's Agreement restricted engine, this inline-6 engine, sounds right now. Not too bad. You also see in the freaking headers as well as the turbocharger glow kind of red at around 6000 RPM, but not much at around redline where the power begins to die down, really die down. So for the S-Type model of the Quartz, of course, rear drive like the other predecessor and everything with a manual 6-speed, top speed claims 176 miles per hour. In kilometers, this is probably like 270 or something like that. Let's do 186 for the sake of increasing fuel economy and overdrive and everything with a viscous LSD. And for the tires, they will not be 205s front and back. So let's do 235s I used to have, but they seem to be poking. Can this be morphed? Oh, this can be morphed. There we go. And clearance is very narrow. Thank you. I'll probably do 225s front and back with some... Do some 18-inch rims. Probably good on the tire size and everything with the diameter. And the brakes, of course, vented disc. Let's do 3s up front. Do 310s and vented disc, 2-piston, 260s in the back. And for the undertray, like the other car back in the day, fully clad with the brake airflow, let's do a 30. For the interior, this will remain as a 5-seater, 2 in the front, 3 in the back, with a sport type of interior with probably a premium or a luxury. Just do premium CD player, seeing that 1986 and 1989 for a basic CD player. God dang, man. I might switch up for a luxury, seeing it's a top-of-the-line model, but I'll think about it. The steering will be a variable hydraulic type of power steering with just ABS brakes only, with advanced 1990 safety standards. And lastly, for the suspension, it'll have progressive springs with adaptive dampers and semi-active sway bars with a sport preset, and we got some oversteering right away. God dang it. Alright, so I made the necessary changes to the car, so I did widen out the back tires to some 245s in the back, along with using some body morphing to stretch out the fenders quite a bit to make up for the wider tires, especially in the back. And I believe... yes, we seem to be good for now before all the aerodynamic fixtures are in place. Also handle and change the handling of the car, switching to G-forces and everything. So let's work on the lesser trim models. Let's first of all name the car the Quartz IV. And of course the S-Type, not the underscore, S-Type in a hyphen, not an underscore. And despite the problems that we got for this car as of right now, with the front rear deficit, 2 hard coins issues, minor wheel spin, and the ignition's retarded ignition time because of high compression, all the good stuff, there wasn't much of a difference lowering the compression or anything. It's just like 1/10 of a horsepower I gained everything, but seemed we got to be in that gentleman's agreement act. I had no choice but to freaking have the engine somewhat knocking, what's not going to be a bunch of a big deal. So complete the S-Type design for now, and work on like the SR, SC, and every other trim model. So starting with this will be the SR version, I'm probably gonna maybe just go IP for the performance level of this car. This will be naturally aspirated for the turbocharged FC24, the 2.4 liter engine. Same internals, I believe. And of course, drop the turbocharger. Instead of being 276, this will be at a whopping 168. That is a big freaking difference. Because the headers suck. Not anymore. And damn, this could rev theoretically much higher. So a relatively quick tune with the FC24 engine. So this horsepower rating is set to exactly 200 horsepower, 6,500 RPM, torque 180.3 pounds-feet of torque, 4,900 RPM. So the SR model, for now, still uses the same 6-speed transmission, and the type of differential still a viscous LSD, same wheels, but dropped into 17-inch rims. A tad smaller brakes up front, same type of under tray setup, aerodynamic setup, interior setup, and I think for the S-Type, I'm going to put a luxury, seeing that there's no, like, added, like, needed department for our factories, nothing like that, putting a luxury type of CD player in it. And I also dropped the camber a little bit to the front. So the S-Type is done for now, with pretty much the same type of problem, still unutilized fuel octane, which is going to be a little bit overkill, I figured 11.0 ratio or something like that. So complete the design and work on the lesser engines, or lesser model cars. And also for how I name the trim levels for my cars and everything, for the future of how I'll name every trim level and all that good stuff. So what you see in this picture here, I'm going to start by changing up like the base level cars, the mid-trim levels, upper end, this and that cars, by starting off with the SE being the most basic trim. Then the SX will be the standard level trim model, SL will stay at the premium level, and the SR, like you seen a little bit ago with the engine tuning and everything, will be the naturally aspirated sports trim level. The S-Type will be the top of the line sports trim level, and if I make a trim level based off of this, the E-Type, which will be the top of the line luxury trim level for my cars. So instead of making like SR, SC, SL, this and that for all my cars like I've been doing, I might as well broaden things out by doing like this, in hopes of improving my better profit margin, make a little bit more money, and giving people a little bit more of an option when choosing a car from us. So for the D-Tune FC24, just the regular injection model, so of course dropped the cam profile, everything else in general, made a single throttle configuration, standard mid intake for the manifold, regular cast mid headers, and dropped it to 164 horsepower, 163.2 pounds-feet of torque. About almost even in terms of horsepower and torque, which I don't think I've ever in a long time matched those two numbers, like back to back. And of course, from a manual to an automatic, let's do a 4-speed like everybody else in general. Goddamn, 160. Let's just do 160 with a open diff. I guess medium compounds, 225. Oh my god. Because we still got the sport suspension. How about normal? A difference, but not a big difference. So after changing this bad boy up to a automatic 4-speed, detuned the tires to some 195s front and back. And what if we do hard long life? Worse off. God damn. Put some regular solid disc brakes front and back, even though there is sportiness and utility brake fade. This is more of a drivability focus, even though there's 0% brake fade drivability-wise front and back. But sportiness, this is not a sports car this trim level, so who even really cares that much about it whatsoever? And 50.8 comfort. Damn, that is some unfamiliar territory if I go into here. And 270 normalized desirability, 85.8% demographic match for family premium. Yo, the competitor score is 25.9. And we got a 50.8, so we smoked the competition in the comfort rating. And everything else is pretty good for the premium level of this car. And I'm probably going to replace the LK series engine by 4 cylinders to something else. Let's do HU series for, damn, the new engines. I guess we'll probably make this a 1.8 liter engine. So the granddaddy of the engines, of course, cast iron. I'll do the bore here. Let's do 89 millimeters for the bore and 80 for the stroke to get the granddaddy engine to 2 liters, 1,991 cubic centimeters. And like the FZ, dual overhead cam 4 valves, aluminum also, rather than single overhead cams like my other engines. And continue to use forged steel, Conrad's cast, hypereutetic pistons cast because of lower emissions. And everything else will come at a later date in terms of this type of tuning. And this will be, again, multi-point, single, standard bid, everything else. Yeah, buddy, you know the drill. 130 horsepower right off the bat for a 4-cylinder, but we got more to do. Might as well give it the VVTi intake treatment, and the rest will be, up to me to tune this to my likeliness. So for the HU18 engine, of course, naturally aspirated, so basic tuning, didn't change much. 129 horsepower, 137 pounds-feet of torque. Not too bad for this little 4-cylinder. And I guess I'll keep it at an automatic for now. I guess it'll probably work. Wait, I forgot. I can change it up to a front-wheel drive, seeing... I'm gonna go back to my SL a little bit. So front-wheel drive, how will this convert? Because rear drive, it was like hella oversteering. This is more like it. Yeah, that's more like it. Instead of being at 180 for normalized desirability, now we're at 211. See, this is why I'm planning on going to this front-wheel drive for everything and have a dedicated sports car to replace the rear drive market for our future. So yeah, I'm pretty much satisfied with the changes here. So in between over and understeer, the drivability factor, the sportiness, understeer around 40-ish miles an hour to slow steering. No major changes other than going from freaking front-wheel drive and cassette player for standard because I can't do a standard CD player, unfortunately. So that'll do for now, and what is my only problem? Clearance in front engines could narrow. That's why it's a legacy car body from probably the original UE4 version of the game from like 2020, 19 or something like that, many years ago. Now what if I change, it's $270 for family premium, change this to front-wheel drive for the SL? What will happen here? So, I cannot do that because it's a 6-cylinder. Oh, sniper. So, guess no choice. Now let's bring out the SE base trim model and probably put a 1.6 or 1.5 liter engine for the base upon base model engines. Let's first of all get this big stuff out of the way. A manual 5-speed, 9.8 seconds compared to what? A 10.7, 11 seconds of an automatic? This game has no freaking, no respect for automatics in this game, even though in BeamNG, this would probably be like, right here, a 10-second car in 0 to 60. I think I might as well de-size the engine here from the once... Why is it showing the 2-liter variant? So, you're saying my 1.8 from my other car is a 2-liter. Hold on a minute. Ah, god dang it. I could probably just de-stroke it, detune the, de-bore it, and de-stroke little by little. Okay, 85 bore, 79 stroke, and this new engine size will be 117 horsepower. We can do better. Alright, a 1.8 variant, 118.6 to 122.7. This will be the 1.8 liter engine. We'll, before I do anything, be final. And seeing that the 1.8 makes about 119 horsepower, I'll just keep this and ignore the 1.5 liter variant of the HU engine. And the rear tires are wide, that's what she said. So I guess I'll finalize just the build portion of the car here of the Ueno Quartz. So that is everything for the Quartz. Next car after the clearance issues and rear tires are wide. God dang it, shut up, man. I'll probably go in and make a 2nd gen model of the Ueno Tani, the K car. I did test this out. This is the only modern K car up to the laws K car bodies you can choose in the game, which is this DEF 1990 hatchback, a 2.03 meter wheelbase body, because it has to follow the strict laws in accordance to the engine requirement, the horsepower rating, width, length, and all that good stuff. So it's pretty much like anything from my other cars, just partial, that, corrosion, this and that, and front suspension McPherson strut, torsion beam rear suspension, I guess. And to resurrect the EK series, is it the replaced fixtures? Let's start off with the EK60i. Is this right? Hold on. Because if I go to my engine variants here for the EK series, if I choose engine facelift, a new one, this just simply says the facelift Mark II and these 3 engines. So if I were to activate the facelift replacement, okay, now I got it. So delete the facelift for all the engines and go back and make a variation, a replacement for the same engine for the next gen Tani. And goddamn, right away, up to 2001 for the Gen 4 Quartz. I wanted to be around before the year 2000. And sell it as a model year 2000 car. Same thing for my other cars when I build them all up. So, replace variant. I was right to begin with. So, the EK Series I replacement will be just the I. That's it. And load her on up from 33 horsepower to question mark upon question mark. 33.4. Not a big difference whatsoever. I'll tune the engine a little bit, so front wheel drive it is. Let's do a manual 4-speed, seeing it's a compacty car, this and that, you don't need to drive at a very high speed. Let's do 90 miles an hour top speed and lower the top speed limiter to 75 miles an hour, seeing that there is a top speed limiter around like 85-ish, 90 miles an hour in real life for skate cars back in the 90s, 2000s. And the tires, see that they're too wide, front and back. Hard long life, 135s front and the back. Are you good? No. There should be good enough right now, mate. I guess drums up front. Holy crap, what are the sizes? 12 freaking inch tires? Damn. No inner tray whatsoever. Brake airflow for the sake of drums. Do 20. And the seats claims 2 in the front and 2 basic ones in the back. What if it changes up to a 5-door variant? The only 2 options is the actual van, a cargo van looking ass looking thing, and an MPV. Was it our variant, or am I on crack when I made a test model of this car? I'll just build the rest of it and find out. The length is 2.99 meters, so I believe the max it can go in terms of the 90s and 2000s is 3.4, if I'm right. Can I find a link real quick? Yes, according to Wikipedia, in 1998, seeing this car would take a long time to build, I guess we'll aim at a 3.4 meter wheelbase, or a 3.4 maximum length for this K car here. And the max width is 1.48 meters, and currently 1.41, so it's illegal now in terms of width, but it will be legal in the next 4 years in-game. So let's size this up to the 2.33 meter wheelbase version, and this should be at near 3.29 meters, but that's without the bumpers, especially the rear bumper being flat. Need to protrude this out a bit. Alright, rear bumpers in check. We are now at 3.34 meters. That's good enough. Good enough in terms of the legal sense and everything. So this will be the 2nd gen Tani after the editing of the EK60i. Maybe do VVT? I don't know. Maybe the base model will not have VVT, the I version. The upper end IL will have VVT, and especially the SR, SC models, or SRs and potentially an S-Type, then go all out with the technology. So let's do a 33.5 horsepower. That's probably good enough for the engine, the base level engine of this car. The tires are still hella wide because I changed up the body and everything else in general, so 135s should probably do, maybe 125s. But we do got some of that understeer. Don't do that understeer, man. And holy brakes, man. Those are some strong brakes. And the frickin' Eco City, the City Eco rating exploded normalized desirability by like 30% by changing up the damn brake pressure, especially in the back. So for the SE Tani, 0 to 62 in a 23 seconds flat, right? 22.95. I'm not going to alter the spacing and everything, seeing that this is a base level car of the K car series. So like the OG Tani, drum brakes and basic ass. Well, I forgot it's an SE. Basic ass everything. And this should probably still says it's underpowered. How about the 0 to 60? Ooh, saved a couple seconds. From 23 to 21.6. About a second and a half saved by stripping out the damn interior. So, before we sign out the SE base level version, we got, of course, low load capacity because of a freaking K car, underpowered for the car's weight despite being about a little over 1,500 pounds, bottoming out in the car's high roll angle, god damn, and the usual lack of power steering. Clearance issue for your front end should be quite narrow. I don't even care about that whatsoever, so let's do the SX mid-trim level version. And I'm going to be using the EK60IL engine, which I gained about a half a horsepower, and we'll change this up to a multi-point electronic fuel injector. Couple horsepower, not too bad, which will also boost the MPG ratings and all that good stuff, as well as the power, as you've seen there. And I'll probably give it the VVT treatment, which will, of course, boost torque at the low end and a little bit of power on top of that. And with some very minor changes, we got up to 40 horsepower and 42.8 pounds-feet of torque with just little tuning off of this engine. And let's try out the 5... Is this the regular 5-door? That's a regular one, but while this one's a little pillar in the back. With or without the pillar, let me see. I think for cleanliness and consistency, I might as well just do the regular 5-door, not the one with the pillar in the back and the extra window. So yeah, not a huge difference in terms of tuning and creating this here. Why'd the brakes change again? There we go, that's better for the SX standard issue trim level of this car. So again, what do we got here? Pretty much same everything except for the unutilized fuel octane for the problems with the car, which I might mitigate some of these problems, but most of these can't go away because I have to make the car even more unrealistic just to cure some of these problems. And for the SL, I guess the same engine. Let's do premium and premium CD player. This might be a little controversial because, nope, it's still got enough power to quote-unquote haul this bad boy. So no changes to the engine other than some increase in rim size, alloy rims, still drum brakes front and back, and all that good stuff, including changing up to a premium interior and... Let's do 90s advanced safety settings and goddamn 100 more pounds. So 215.1 standard says, for the best interest, I might as well keep it standard in 90s safety standards. Now let's see what I can do with the SR version of this car and eventually try to cap out the horsepower rating with the S-Type variant. So for the EK60IS, which will be the naturally aspirated version of this performance engine, still gave it that VVT type of treatment and a multi-point electronic fuel injector single throttle setup. For the S-Type, I'll do a throttle per cylinder configuration and probably jump this up to premium fuel because it will be turbocharged like its predecessor. And it makes almost 47 horsepower and revs at the 6,500 RPM. We'll keep it at a manual. I'm going to improve the top speed, which will improve fuel economy to 100 miles an hour, but I'll jump up to 81 for the limited top speed. And I could put an LSD, but it ain't really that worth it for a front-wheel drive basic ass car. Maybe, but maybe not. And what happens if I choose a sport type of suspension setup with the bottom mount being over 2%? 0%, but a little bit less on the roll angle. I'll give you that. So that'll be good with the SR with the front and rear dampers hard and no bottoming it out issues or the issues of it rolling over because of the high roll angle. Now let's see what I can do with the S-Type version of the Tani. Wow, so hardly any changes other than the freaking multi-point throttle per cylinder performance mid, and hardly any changes with the sliders or even the turbocharger whatsoever, including VVT and everything and the exhaust, to get it to the maximum required Gentleman's Agreement Act of 63 horsepower at 5,700 RPM. And like the naturally aspirated model, revs up to 6,500 RPM. Now improve the top speed, and I guess let's do 85 for the top speed, 87 exactly. And for the heck of it, let's try out another viscous LSD. It might not be needed for a front-wheel drive car like this. 0 to 62 in 13.3 seconds, which is fairly impressive for a K car with a top speed of 87 miles an hour, limited up to 87. And not to what I got here of 103 miles an hour without the top speed limiter. So to wrap up the Gen 2 Tani with the dampers and clearance issues, let's try and make another second gen Tribal, the station wagon. I might as well pick this 1994 2.48 meter wheelbase body for our Ueno Tribial. And as per usual, you know the drill. Partial, monocoque, corrosion, transverse, McPherson, multi-link, I guess, like the Ueno Quartz. Except with the Quartz, it's double wishbone up front instead of a McPherson strut. And I'll start things off with the HU series engine, so I'm going to rebrand the 15, I guess I'll put it up to a 20, a 2-liter engine. It's already set to a 2-liter, 129 horsepower right off the gate. I think I've already tuned this, right? Yeah, it was already tuned to my likeliness until I realized that I should have debored and de-stroked the engine to 1.8-liter model, so change this to a 20 for this guy. And for the GH series engine, I might as well make it a 2.5-liter V6 engine up front. Like the frickin' Chrysler Mitsubishi 6G73 of that bad boy. So manual 5-speed, it claims 133, let's do 140 for the fuel economy. Monza tires, 185s up front and 75s in the back. Thank you very much. We'll start with 185s front and the back for now. Solid disc 2 pistons up front for the brakes, 270s. Solid disc 1 pistons, 230s in the back. Under tray, none. You know the drill by then. And for the interior, let's do basic and basic because it's the SE version with a regular rack and pinion steering, no ABS brakes, 90 safety standards. Progressive. Do gas, passive. Let's do gas mounted tubes for now on for our base level cars, not the twin tubes because it's a little bit like too outdated. The rear tires are wide. You expect me to put 120 of 142s in the back, like paper thin tires in the back for a car like this? This is stupid. I mean, 185s for a little over 1 ton weight vehicle, 2,400 pounds, we'll have to do. And speaking of it being weighing this much and all that stuff, and it's part of weight ratio, I think I'll probably make the 1.8 liter. This will be the base level engine of 1.8. And the 2 liter will be the SX, and SL and above will be the V6 model. Alright, so the engine's been swapped out, a little bit worse off the gas mileage and everything. So rear tires, brake fade, clearance issues, I don't care. So with the SX, I gotta name the cars real quick. So model 1 is the Tribial Gen 2 model. SC for starters, clone trim, SX for the mid-trim level with the 2-liter HU20i engine, and roughly a half a second better of 0 to 62 times, and interior standard. Now we need some better brakes like that Midas commercial, and that's it, just the interior, the brakes, yeah, that's it for the, the SX model. Now for the GH series, so it'll be the big boy 2.5 liter engine by jacking up the stroke as well as the bore, and 145 right off the bat after doing that, and give it the VBT treatment it deserves, and it'll do the rest of the tuning right here. I guess we'll settle with 149 horsepower, almost 160 pounds-feet of torque with this V6 engine, 2.5 liter. Instincts the more premium model, automatic 4-speed, drop to 0 to 62, pretty much where it was with the 4-cylinder models. And alloy rims as per usual, and this will be family utility premium. The other car should have been family utility as so. Holy crap, so from standard 90s, about 170% normalized desirability, 90s advanced, 181%. By just simply improving our safety standards to a new level. Damn, son. Guess the SL will be finalized with some wide-ass tires, clearance issues, engine unused fact chain, brake fade, I don't even care, man. So SR, what will be the performance level of the GH25? So I bumped up the GH25, the naturally aspirated model, to 175 horsepower, 173.4 pounds-feet of torque. And we'll go back to a manual with a 6-speed transmission and a new top speed. Let's do 150. 7.3, 0 to 62. Not too bad. 7.3 seconds. And we gotta widen out the body quite a bit. And like this. Yeah. Just like that. So for the SR Tribal, about a 7-second, almost 7-second 0 to 62 time, 205s front and back, some pretty beefy vented disc brakes front and back, and all that good stuff for this car. So to wrap up the Tribal, one more to go, despite these problems. Let's see what I can do with the S-Type of the turbocharged GH25 engine. So to get this engine within the Gentleman Agreement's max power rating of 276 horsepower, I'm going to try out a twin-turbo setup with 2 turbos, of course. With twin turbos, and just like the SR version, is to be running a dual exhaust setup with this engine. So the S-Type and SR Tribals will be dual exhaust, and of course this a twin-turbo setup, like I said. Still the 6-speed, 170 miles an hour it claims. Hell yes, buddy. Viscous LSD to lower the wheel spin a bit. And I have to widen out this body quite a bit to show off, and not show off, but mitigate the wheel spin and to increase better control of the car and all that good stuff. So top speed's pretty legit, 0 to 62, 5.6 seconds roughly, and put some 235s front and back for the tires, still the sports compounds, not the semi-slick tires. And can I put some 18s without any problems? Let's find out. 187.5 with 17-inch rims, 18s, better. Because while it improves the sportiness factor just a little bit to satisfy their needs, just a smidge. But the front tires have a very low profile. God damn it, let's improve the tires. Good. Alright, I think we're all good with the car, right? Now we have to put into a sport preset. So, with the end of the Tribal, and to go on with my next car, the minivan, clearance issues, tires, yada yada yada, complete the design, and make our 4th vehicle for the first time. Okay, so the final car I'll be building is this here minivan, this 2.8 meter wheelbase vehicle, which will be kind of like a wannabe Honda Odyssey or similar Japanese-made minivans that are out on the market this time period, and so on. And give it the usual treatment. You know the drill. Partial, Monty, Kuroji, Tranny, McPherson, and I guess semi-trim. Let's see here. I guess to improve comfort, semi-trailing arm. I might switch up to a double wishbone, but I'll figure it out. And the base model will use the HU20i engine with a front-wheel drive, and I guess for the starter version, a manual 5-speed, making a little over 130-something horse or miles per hour top speed. And again with the damn tires asymmetrical, because the ones up front are they're done, even though they got 195s in the back. Come on, man. So, Mr. Booty, you happy? Now you're happy. And typical brakes, probably a solid disc, 2 piston up front, I believe, and 1 piston in the back. No under tray, brake airflow as per usual. For the interior, we can work with 2x2 in the middle and a full bench seat in the back, making it 7 seats in total, 2 up front, 2 in the middle, and 3 in the back. And basic upon not yet basic upon basic. Regular hydraulic rack and pinion, no ABS brakes, 1990 safety standards, suspension, progressive, twin passive, normal. And not a whole lot of over or under steering in terms of drivability factor, but sportiness is not too bad. And passenger fleet, where we're at, 183.5%, nor demographic match 67%. So I might as well for the base level car call this a quote-unquote fleet car. God damn, family utility budget, 65 competing trims, despite doing fairly good in demographic and normal desirability, but here we got 15 for a fleet vehicle. I guess it'll be a mixture between fleet and a utility, family utility budget car, or a not so much of a family car because it needs a sedan to increase the penalty, or desirability points I meant, first penalty. And you know the drill with the damn brakes. Always you got the friggin' rear brakes being super OP around here with the rear braking force, even though the rear grip is way down there and you try to like have to match it the best you can without going way over the line. Like this right here for the front and the rear is pretty good. You want the brakes to lock up a little bit more and not a whole lot in the back. Now numbers really went up with the normalized desirability market percentage. So for Model 1 Trim 1 of this car, for the minivan, I will call this bad boy the Ueno Kokai. which that translates to open seas, technically what it really stands for, other than like open for business and stuff like that, what it means nowadays. And as per usual, trim SE for the base level model. And despite the rear tires being wide and clearance issues front of the engine being quite narrow, let's jump up to the SX model, which will continue to use the 4-cylinder engine, and probably the SL and above will use the V6. So no real major changes with the SX other than putting an automatic 4-speed for the standard edition model. No changes with the tires, rims, hardly anything with the brakes, including change up to a standard interior for everything. So guess we'll step up to the SL version of this minivan. And they also did, with the SE version, drop this down in terms of the engine. The base model will house the 1.8-liter engine, while the SX uses the 2-liter engine. And I'm also going to give this a try. I'm going to try out, for the first time in corporate history, an all-wheel drive setup with the SL version of this car. With a power distribution, I guess, 55, 45, what's the distribution? 61 up top. I guess we can roll with this for now, maybe? So I believe we're not going to be making any other changes to the SL version of the Kokai, and second of all, I did look this up. Seeing that the van weighs about 3,300 pounds with a 149 horsepower motor, 2.5-liter V6, this makes about 1,000 pounds less compared to the Honda Odyssey, which houses a 3.8-liter V6 engine. So we got a smaller engine making less power, but we're also making 1,000 pounds less compared to the Odyssey. And 0 to 60 claims about 11.7 seconds. This game really hates automatics. Like if we do a manual, I save 0.8 of a second. Like, are you kidding me? And I'm not going to be making an SR model. I don't think I will. I'll probably try out the E-Type, like actually put some luxury features in this vehicle, seeing that this won't be a racing type of sporty car whatsoever. So let's do E-Type. So for a luxury interior, I don't, familiarity is a problem. I don't need a Leatherworks factory add-on, because handmade interior, you need a Leatherworks factory in your, well, add-on in your factory to make this possible. So luxury it is. Let's see, about 3375-ish, and a luxury CD player, so about 3,400 pounds. Yes, indeed. And while we're here, this will definitely increase the freaking engineering time and traction control, because why not? Give them the best of best. However, I'll probably make a Performance E edition model, a naturally aspirated higher output version of this. Let's do the IL version of GH25. Alright, it's not a stark difference in terms of how much power this will be for the GH25IL engine. So 170 horsepower will do, and about 172 pounds-feet of torque. I'd say this is an okay, like, luxury, high output, naturally aspirated, not a sport version of this engine. So, might as well finalize the E-Type and pretty much all the other designs of the car. I'm going to be building 4 cars today, probably the next video, probably. Especially with the Ueno Kokai, it's going to be front-wheel drive no matter what. I could be making an actual sports car in the near future in my next video. And look at that, no major suggestions or problems with the car or the engine. So, I'm probably going to start off first by designing the easiest car, which will be the Ueno Tani. And I can design with that car, the Tribial, the Kokai, and especially the Quartz. So I'll come back with the final designs of all these 4 cars, breeze through the process and everything, and show you everything, and sell the cars, which I'll do all that right here and right now.
3 weeks
later.
Alrighty, so after those many days of editing, so starting with the Ueno Kokai, so starting with the front end, just a breeze through of all the models here. So the front end is they kind of resembled based off of the Ueno Quartz, and a little bit of the front end with the bumper molding straight from the Renault Aventime from the early 2000s, with the grille placement and as well as the extruded little bumper piece on the bottom. And I know the side view mirrors are a little bit too somewhat big for this type of car, but as I go into the interior in this build here, he said there's not a whole lot of side view mirrors that I could go with for this particular car to have the mirror seen right here on the right side as well as the left side of the vehicle because of a lack of mirrors, especially some that protrude out like this in the game here, even if you have like a modded fixture as well as a vanilla fixture for this type of a long, almost like Toyota Sienna type of, or Previa type of van body. And I go into the back end of the base level Kokai, the SE. We got the turn signals on the topmost part of the taillight housing of the vehicle, including these brake lights with an integrated reverse light dead square in the middle as I demonstrate. So here's the pimped out brake lights, the old turn signals, and the old reverse light. And with the Ueno Kokai to put in place of the rear windshield wiper and this little washer thingy here, windshield washer nozzle thing, integrated on here with this little black strip, which is shared with the Ueno Tribial, which I'll show you that a little bit later, and how this is very similar to this car, including that car too. And also to make use of the back seats, I put myself a wannabe stow and go type of straps on here so you can fold the back seats down, which don't fold in the game, unfortunately. Just like, pick up your imagination, kids. And a breeze through the interior, which you kind of seen, so a basic dashboard with the RPMs, tachometer, speedometer, and to add a little bit more room to the dashboard, I put my own custom voltometer starting from 9 volts being the worst, including 10 volts, to 13 volts being somewhat optimal within this range, and 16, 17 volts is bad. Along with a handful of warning lights that don't work. It's all decoration, the mileage in the bottom, and pretty much a continuation design with the 90s little dashboard, modular dashboard mod fixtures with the dashboard itself, the centered console, and all that good stuff with this car. So going up to the standard issue model of the Ueno Kokai is that with the exterior, just some very minor changes. The side door guards are painted instead of it being plastic with the SE model. The door handles as well as the side view mirrors are still plastic colored, and as well with this model, we got the SX badging on the side, which would be the same thing for the SL and the E-Type model, which will be kind of like with the S-Type and everything in that badge layout and formatting. And the interior, especially it being a 2-liter engine, the interior still cloth interior, and with it being an automatic transmission, for the first time in a while, we got ourselves a column automatic shifter, but I kind of hastily put it in there because there's a lack of room with the steering wheel. And see that the manual transmission shifter is gone. I kind of put in this little storage pocket, which is really nothing that I could do, to give you the illusion that there is a deep storage pocket, because as we can see with the fixture of the center console, is that I can't put a hole in the middle here to put the storage pocket to put whatever you want in here, right by these cup holders of wannabe Pepsi cans that unfortunately don't work in BeamNG. And with the Kokai SL, the premium level minivan, for the door guards, as per usual, instead of being plastic like the SE, coated with the SX, we got chrome with the SL version, with painted door handles and a side view mirrors, both sides, including the little antenna thingy. And the front grille, kind of like with the SL levels of this car, chromed out the grille and put some fog lights on the sides here with the little wannabe Aventime type of grille, with the chrome auxiliary grille being chrome also. And chrome strip on the little license plate holder thingy-majig, and for the interior, still kind of gray up in here with the status quo of like the color and everything, but we got ourselves some leather seats, some gray accents on the sides, and more black on the center for all of the seats, with a leather wrapped steering wheel on, well, the wheel, and for the interior with the dashboard, still the same, but with the E-Type, I got myself a wannabe almost like Volkswagen MFI screen, which you'll see right here. And for the Elegance type, aka the E-Type top-of-the-line luxury model of the Kokai, with a rose gold, which I don't think it'll export in BeamNG, a rose gold type of pearlescent coloring with chrome everywhere, chrome mirrors, chrome frickin' pillar trim, the door handles, the rims, you know it. And with the SL and this car, it's all-wheel drive, which is highlighted on the sides here with the E-Type models as well as the SL and E-Type on the back. And the interior is all tanned out like the Tani. They think it's a Gen 1 model of it being tanned with the SL version. All tanned out with a sunroof, which I believe the SL also has a sunroof. And with the screen I was talking about, here's the wannabe VW MFI with the cardinal direction, the top left, it being northwest, the time right in the middle, 1337 at 1:37 in the afternoon and 24-hour time. 20.5 degrees Celsius, which is a toasty 69 Fahrenheit. And in kilometers, your speed right here, and the current gear selector on the very bottom, the Prindle, or Prin 2L. And also the SL and E-Type models, I got ourselves a more elegant looking climate control system right here, as well as a CD player, color-coded with the actual trim of the dashboard and all that good stuff. And even forgot to highlight, I got mud flaps in the back as well as the front, which I don't think I've put mud flaps on any of my Ueno cars. I don't think I did. So for the second car, the Ueno Tribial, the Gen 2 model, pretty basic with the front end with a custom cutout grille, including the headlights too, with, of course, your general run-of-the-mill headlights with some decal patches to make up the glass housing on the front here. And it being the base level wagon, the side vents are practically hidden at the moment until we get up to the higher trim levels, so this is pretty much a premium. You got the poverty model, the SE with no side vents. And with the back end, with the taillight placements and the orientation, I did try to mock this up of a Mitsubishi, a late 90s Mitsubishi Lancer GLXi wagon with the orientation of the brake lights, reverse lights, and the top turn signals. And of course, with the rear of the car, like I said about the Kokai, of this having a little strip with the rear washer fluid, the nozzle, wiper, and the license plate molding, where you put the license plate for the Japanese version or an EU license plate on the back. So, just a share similarities with that car and this car with the pretty much back end and everything. And for the interior, very basic as per usual. The same type of gauge cluster, still a voltometer and all that good stuff with some manual ass windows for the front and the back seats because of it being a base model car, and it's not sponsored by Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew? No, it's not. Heading up to the Tribial 2 SX Gen 2 model, we got the side vents that do work with the auxiliary grille with the molding just deleted with this model. And still everything pretty much the same with the front end as well as the sides. And for this model and above, we got these little roof rails that are prevalent with the SX and above models as standard, including an optional that they put in place, an optional trailer hitch on the back, starting with the SX and the SL model. And the interior, pretty much the same with an ample amount of trunk space, which I should have highlighted earlier. It's pretty much the same thing. Still cloth seats, pretty much all black, like off black and black cloth seats. And the same type of interior, the gauge cluster, orientation, still the manual shifter, and not sponsored by these guys either. In its SL Gory the Tribial, of course, as per usual, we got ourselves some fog lights on the auxiliary grille and the side vents and everything with a chrome grille pattern here. And some colored side view mirrors with chrome door handles, a sunroof in between the roof rails, and with the interior, well, chrome here. With the interior, we got ourselves leather seats, a gray in the middle, and an off black on the primary seats. The primary seats are off black with gray accents for the seats, leather seats, and oh crap. Let me do this real quick. Oh yeah, this is still dark gray cloth. It's black, I believe. There we go. I think we're all good with the floorboards, right? So floorboards are in good shape. Yes, we are. Oh, how about this? Damn it, forgot about this too. I was about to say, gray accents in the middle, off black on the sides, a gray leather-wrapped steering wheel, CD player, a better climate control system, automatic transmission because 2 pedals, and this right here, the transmission. And ignore this little button here because, well, this is a mod setup. This is a modded transmission, so pretend that button doesn't exist, nor does this one here. Now, for the performance level of this car, the Tribal SR has, of course, the SR badging with a basic aero package starting with the rear diffuser, the side skirts on both sides of the car, a basic form of a side skirt that does generate aero and automation. I don't know if it will really do so in BeamNG, and a front little diffuser, not diffuser, but a front lip on the front of the car below the auxiliary grille. Leather racing seats on the front, and still the typical back seats on the back, and let's see here. Okay, floorboard's all good, unlike the SL where I had to correct that, so we're all good there. And for the heck of it, is this... Yeah, let me do something about the light here. Because I did this for the Quartz. This is supposed to be kind of like the little door reflector light kit thingy. Like when you open up the door, this lights up for the front and as well as the back, that I should have really took this into consideration for the upper echelon models, which I'll also do so off camera for the SL, and that should not be a light. Alright, all good, right? Yes, we are. And lastly, with the S-Type model of the Tribal in its wannabe Nissan Stagea type of glory with the front end, I did craft and change out the front lip to actually conform, of course the front of the vehicle, and conform with the auxiliary grille to one make aero and try to push a little bit more airflow to the bottom portion of the grille, as well as the side vents here in its fog lights glory. Because, well, it makes the gentleman's agreement legal, not legal, but gentleman's agreement requirement of 276 horsepower, so lawmakers in Japan this time didn't force them to make less powerful cars back in the day. And I did slap on a basic hood scoop on the front end, which seems aight for this type of car. Even though with the Ueno Quartz S-Type has, of course, a hood scoop like this with side vents on each of the sides here. And the side skirts, quote-unquote side skirts, made them a little bit more aggressive. And of course, the rear diffuser is still the same with a, I believe it's called a spoiler on here. Yes, it's declared an automation as a spoiler and not an actual wing to improve more downforce. Is that I slapped myself a low-level spoiler on the back of the car to generate more rear aerodynamics in honor of this high-end sports model of this car with the red accents similar to the SR models of the car, which I believe the SRs will not have the now S-Type version of the interior with the red accents, the red cloth accents, as well as the red leather accents in the middle and black on the sides. Same thing with the door cards, it being red at the accents in the middle, the grab bar handles, and black, yes, black leather on the door cards. And seeing it's a performance model, which you also see the same thing for the Quartz and the Tani, is I got myself a boost gauge in the middle between the RPM gauge and the speedometer. Now for the second gen model of the Ueno Tani, I pronounced that correctly now, so the Tani, the K car, is very basic in terms of styling with the front end with the squarish rectangular headlights up front, which is interesting here. I believe this is custom, right? If I turn it on just to give you an idea and hit this. Yes, these are custom headlights. So what I did was, yes, I made the headlights transparent and kept the plastic like shelling, like the insets and everything, as well as the headlight trim, and put in a custom turn signal on the side, a big like separator bar next to the turn signal, and the main and only headlight up front. And the vents are a little bit questionable, but I did try to improve the styling in a way for it being so basic of a front end. So we got the big rectangular auxiliary grille in the bottom, followed by these almost like bubbly looking ass vents that don't work on the base model of the sedan because it's all blacked out and everything. And I believe the Kokai, which I forgot to highlight with the windshield wipers, is that this car, the Tani, as well as the Kokai, are not like the conventional wipers where they go up, down, but they fan outwards. on both sides, as you may see on like kind of the Ford Focus, I believe, and some other vehicles that kind of use this headlight type of technology, not technology, but the orientation for the wipers to, of course, wipe rain and this and that off your car. And the sides, basic as hubcaps, plastic door cards, and for the rear end, which is interesting, I think I mainly modeled this, especially with the brake lights, made it the tail light placed with the brake lights and turn signal placements, inspired it off of the 90s Daihatsu Move K-Wagon, I believe, like a K-MPV, where they had the brake lights on top as well as the turn signals and made way for the reverse lights on the bottom, I believe. And a follow suit with the Tribal and the Kokai, got the washer nozzle here, and a basic wiper, front and back wiper for the rear of the vehicle, with the interior being so jam-packed for a 2.3 meter wheelbase body, I believe, 2.33. I still managed to fit in the 3 seats in the back and 2 up front with some of that lean foo. And instead of having a conventional handbrake seat, I couldn't put any room for one. I put myself a foot brake, I think it's called a foot brake, what you see on SUVs and stuff like that, where you push this in to engage the parking brake and push it in and pulls out to disengage the foot actuated parking brake. The standard issue model of the Tani has, of course, this has fog lights. I thought the SL has it. God dang it. Well, the SX has LED fog lights with a working side grills, as you've seen how they didn't work. Now they work. And still cloth seats as per usual compared to the SE base model version of this car. Still the manual tranny, foot brake, and same level of interior. The Tani SL is pretty much damn near the same thing exterior-wise, except for the colored side view mirrors and the trim that goes around it, and yeah, everything is pretty much the same exterior-wise except for the SL badging, and for the interior, kind of the E-Type Kokai of it having, like the first-gen model, a tan interior setup with the tan seats, tan leather seats, tan trim, tan cloth floorboards, and all that good stuff with same automatic transmission, still same foot brake, and 2 pedals up an automatic for crying out loud. For the SR version of Tani, I believe I improved this from 47 horsepower to 49 horsepower. So starting with the back, I used the body molding feature in the game to make way for this little spoiler that you can I do it or no? Yes, here, this little spoiler and made a invisible lip fixer, I believe, an invisible lip to forcefully generate aero in the game to make it look like that this spoiler here, this body molded spoiler works in a way in the game here. Aha, yes, this is the invisible rear lip that pretty much is on the spoiler but in 3D mode and everything, but for it being in 3D mode and invisible, I believe this should still generate aero in BeamNG, which it does do so in automation, as you can see here. Almost non-existent front downforce, about 0.3 pounds of lift, and 15.3 pounds of rear downforce, about 80 miles an hour. So with the front, a basic front lip. On the bottom of the vehicle, a somewhat not too shabby hood scoop, side arrow, side arrow with the side, very small side skirts, and a diffuser as per usual. SR badging, and for the interior, still the black leather seats and black leather sports seats, and the return of Listic Shift, aka Manny Tranny, and the Trippy PDs. With, I believe, yes, an updated tachometer because it revs higher, rather than the stock like 6,000-ish RPMs with this i3 engine, 660cc i3 engine. And for the S-Type, its true legal requirement of 63 horsepower glory, still same type of front end with, of course, the lip, hood scoop, and side arrow and all that good stuff with the S-Type badging on the bottom of the door guards on the side. That's also prominent in the back of the car, and to replace the spoiler, which is still prominent with the body molding, is to put a very low-level spoiler, right? It's a spoiler ring. Oh, it's declared a wing now, okay. So this fixture is declared as a wing compared to the Tribial, it being declared as a spoiler, a modded spoiler, which, what did I use here for that one? Yeah, that's what I used for the Tribial is this type of spoiler, but this boy is a wing, which does generate more downforce in automation, and a bit more in BeamNG if I'm correct. Because we got micro downforce with the front and over 53 pounds of rear downforce, which ain't that bad for a car like this. And of course, with the S-Type model we got, of course, the red seats, black accents in the middle, and red leather wrapped steering wheel, boost gauge in the center, and similar as tachometer setup with everything else in general. Now for the more flagship car, the Ueno Quartz. So, if you may have seen my video from over 3 years ago that pretty much started this Ueno brand off of my Mr. Jack and 000 days, we got the front of the headlights that pretty much screams like the S-Type Quartz with the 2 headlights up front and the turn signals on the side, and the grille placement of having these vertical grille bars with the Ueno U logo dead center, with a very basic hood bulge body molding fixture, seeing that there's not a whole lot of good body molding fixtures to resemble like hood bulges and hood lines and all that good stuff and like all in one go or in a few fixtures and stuff like that. So the SE model has pretty much a basic auxiliary grille on the bottom. I deleted the side vents as well as the fog lights because of it being a base level sedan, with the plastic door cards and this front trim that goes in between the license plate, where this plastic bar is resembled on the front as well as on the sides. That is unchanged because, well, I wanted to keep the car pretty much the same as how I built it back in the day, where I made videos of like showing the car in its final design, overview of the car, and driving in BeamNG because how the cars took so long to build an exterior as well as an interior back in the day. And instead of deleting the rear diffuser, this will still generate aero, but it's pretty much just a decorative piece. I thought about deleting this entirely, but this seems empty without it, so I might as well keep the rear diffuser as is, and the rear reflectors off of the diffuser too, which is kind of interesting. With the rear housing, is that this here is the rear, big-ass rear reflector, including these down here, which I thought about deleting them, but I want to keep them to maintain the aesthetic of how I built the car back then. And of course, the Quartz font is way different than the original car, which I'll probably show you that car once I get into BeamNG, the original Ueno Quartz S-Type, and compare those two probably. In the interior of it being a sedan, got the basic parcel shelf instead of actually building the trunk space and all that good stuff. So interior, blacked out cloth seats, and the door guards. These are the 1990s interior fixture mod pack for the door cards up in here for the front as well as the back, with a different tachometer setup, which we got the RPMs dead in the center, big ass in the center, a smaller speedometer gauge, your fuel, oil, temperature, and they did not include a voltometer anywhere in this gauge cluster here. Going on to the SX version, so the SX does have optional fog lights, which I did put in here with the side grills, which is basically just a vent added on to the front auxiliary grille on the bottom. And same type of front fascia, everywhere else with the grill setup, the grill bars, which is still plastic black. And I did color in the front trim piece with the license plate as well as on the door cards on the side. And the back, I did add also an optional lip spoiler, which is optional for the SX model, to generate some rear aerodynamics and to make this a little bit more better in a way. I pimp it out a little bit more. And still a gray and blackish cloth seats, as well as the front seats, and having an automatic transmission and a manual with the SE model. And same gauge cluster and automatic windows, mirrors with this model and above. The Quartz SL has, of course, not really been changed except for the grill bars, it being chrome up front, and the back end hasn't really been changed. Still the same lip spoiler and all that good stuff. Sunroof on top. And for the interior itself, we got some wood grain on the steering wheel. See that I can't put... I have used this fixture and everything. So wood grain on the steering wheel instead of it being leather wrap. Wood grain on the steering wheel. A little bit of wood grain in a way for the door trims. For the door cards that are like half-assed in a way, seeing that interior fixtures are kind of a pain in the ass in the game to line up and everything else in general with the body. And the seats, gray accents in the middle, gray leather accents, and black leather seats front and back with a leather armrest storage bin thingy here. Now for the sport level version of the Ueno Quartz. So the front fascia and the entire aero package, as you see here, comes from the S-Type Quartz. So we still got the same hood scoop, vents coming from the S-Type, the grille orientation, front lip, side skirts and everything, rear working in a way, working rear diffuser, and a mid-level rear wing or a spoiler? Rearing. And the interior still black, all black leather seats, off black in the, off black on the sides, actual black in the middle. Same thing with it being all black leather seats with the sports seats. And a different type of manual, more sporty manual gear shifter. And all that good stuff, a more pimped out climate control system, CD player, and yeah. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, ignoring all these problems with the car and the engine, the Gen 4 Ueno Quartz S-Type. With the S-Type badge on the side and the red, accent seen from the original Ueno Quartz S-Type that runs from the front quarter panel all the way, wraps around to the back and all that good stuff, which is exclusive to this model only. With the blacked out grills up front, the grill bars, still the same aero package with the front lip, hood scoops, hood vents, the side skirts, rear diffuser, and mid-level rear wing, and some blacked out rims, some good ass blacked out rims, and the S-Type badging, the Quartz Ueno logo, reflectors, big ass exhaust pipes, even the S-Type, and all that good stuff. And with the interior it being remastered and reworked compared to the original, where there weren't a whole lot of fixtures in general. Huh? What the hell happened to the front frickin' thingy here? This wasn't like this. Is it something with the tunnel? No. How the hell they screwed up with the thing here? How they screw this up? Damn, even though there are models too. How was I this arrogant of not knowing that I should have fixed the damn interior with the floorboards as well as the floor trim and all that stuff? I mean, I don't know. Seeing that I don't want to make the seats like super duper squished in and all that stuff, with it having a somewhat of a narrow interior, of it being a legacy car body from the old version of automation, probably like the original UE4 version or the key engine days of having this car body that I used for the original Ueno Quartz and this one too. So for now, I'll let this little discrepancy slide, and for the seats here also to include with the other cars of the S-Type model, instead of it being the bride Japanese seats, we got ourselves some wide WHYD seats. Some wide leather sports seats on the front of the vehicle and the back. Red accents in the middle and black everywhere else that you see here. And for the S-Type model only, we got the return of the boost gauge, it being a maximum of 3/4 of a bar, and you're pretty much redlining at beyond that to 1 bar of boost. So concluding the overview for all the cars here, so let's get ready to sell these cars, but market the cars, check out our factories, and all that good stuff, which I'll probably start with the Ueno Quartz, which should take FZ series about 88 months, the HU series 66 months, so hold on a second here, let me figure this out. So a total of 99.3 months just right away with these sliders set up here. And when I went back into the game here, because I was going in and out, all these cars would take up to the year of 2023 to release and everything, like 9 years. Let's see, the Ueno Kokai claims December 2002. It's January 1994, by the way. So this car is going to take 9 years to make. The Tribial Mark II, or Tribial version 2, Gen 2, 2001, year of February. The Tani of April 2000, and the Ueno Quartz of May 2002. So pretty much a net average of like 7.5, pushing 8 months of engineering time for all 4 cars. Damn. I'll try to reduce the time it takes to engineer all the cars and all that good stuff, but I don't want to sacrifice too much on reliability and everything, making this car a total flop. I'm not going to put too much of the pressure, so 90 months with this slider setup that we got going here for the general engineering timing for the engines. And I also got to consider which they will go for the FZ series and the HU series. So let's start with the HU series and see where these will go. So 65.6 months of the HU series, so the Quartz, so the Quartz is 90 months. And the engines is, well, 88 for the i6, and the i4 is about 66 months. So I should be okay with this car, I believe. Well, this engine for the car, and the others alike with the Tribial and the Kokai. So absolutely no rush with this engine, so I'll keep it as is for the factory. This should be tooling plant, god dang it. So cranky engine factory will be cranky tooling plant. God dang it, capital L. There. I believe I can make way with the cranky engine factory, right? And second of all, oh, god damn it, vegan is a medium? Oh, man. Because I want to make this so I can do a large version to, oh, god damn it. I think the K cars will have to be in a medium factory and eventually move the vegan tooling plant to maybe convert this to my sports level engines for maybe a light sports car and a pure blood sports car. And move the EK K car engines to a large factory like Frunia or Cranky, which will probably do that in a future video once we get into the 2000s. So anything else we need to add? No iron, no forge. Should be okay. But I think I will add an aluminum foundry in case we want to add an aluminum engine and all that good stuff for the block and everything if we were to make a new engine with this type of material. And no other additions? Nope. Unfortunately, that'll be it. So a $200 million addition for an aluminum foundry and sign off on the engines. So August 1999, the HU series engines will be done. That's plenty of time for all the other cars, which I need to look into to bring those down. And the FZ series, gotta sign these off too. This claims 88 buds, which I believe the FZ engine is exclusive to the Ueno Quartz only, as the GH engines are seen on the Ueno Kokai and the Tribial. I think I'll bring this down a little bit, so let's do 83 months, reliable, and faster. Work hard, play hard, so 84 months if I want to bring down the Quartz a little bit too, to be on par with the FZ series engines, 2001, so exactly 7 years from now. I was aiming for the year of 2000, but especially with the Kokai, I don't think it'll be possible. Maybe 2001 will be the limit, but with all the technology you got in the car, they will all be so outdated to the point that it'll be less desirable for people to buy once the car is done engineering and released onto the market. I think I will settle for this slider setup, which will be released on October of 2000. I'll probably make this a 2001 model year version of the car, assuming if I can get the Kokai and all the others to be within this time frame. Concept. Huh? I gotta build a new engine factory, yeah? Yes sirree, the FZ series engines ain't here. Please leave a message after the beep. So create a new one. I don't care. Create a large boy, still Frunia first. And what will be a good name to make fun of fruits and vegetables and all that good stuff? What will be a good engine tooling name? Produce tooling plant. That would probably do. And of course, a large boy, maybe a 2 factory. And iron, forged, QA, maintenance. This will be probably for the future, aluminum. So the factory itself is 256 million, and everything else 150. So how much will this cost? $670 million, right? In total? Oh, total building, 1.06 billion. Well, we're making good money. Probably by the time this is released, it'll probably be like 15 or 16 billion. So we should be okay. If not, then I'll probably make this a large 3 and do the others for my car factories in case there's any discrepancies with like production and everything. With like right here, engine factories being overworked. Once I assign the cars and the factories to those engines and build them and all that good stuff, put those this and that. And yeah, still October of 2000, so complete the FZ series, the engine, and probably go into my car, and let's see, 81, so let's make this done sooner. I guess 84 months, but I don't want to push it too far because we're funding quite a bit of engineering costs, a little bit too much. And in terms of reliability, which is also a big factor, we're at a 67, but I don't want to put it too low to the point where there could be recalls on both the engines as well as the cars itself. Like increase the recall, the threshold if a recall were to happen. Let's do 82 months. This will probably be released in November, so this will probably regret this, but we'll give it a try. So Quartz 2 will be where the Quartz, well, Gen 3 Quartz will make way for Gen 4 Quartz at the Chunky Car Factory. And how overworked are we going to be? Let's find out. So currently, we are overworked. If I put the SE, they are not overworked. SX, they are not overworked. The SL with the FC series, not overworked, not. So we're doing hella numbers to the point where we don't need those frick ton of shifts. If I were to upgrade my factory to have the FC and HU series go up by factory shifts, I could go for a large 2 with the FC series being quite a ways away, but the HU not being so much. For a large 3, I can have the load be quite up to the point of its current load output with the FC series engine up to the actual matching load, but the HU is quite a bit a ways. And I'll probably add a staffing facility, which is probably my last add-on that I can put in for this factory. And I'll choose a large 3, which should expect... Did that number go up? Oh, it did a little bit. So 19,800 cars of estimated car production with a staffing factory claims 19,900. How about a facility, not a facility, expanded office? Will it... Ooh, hold on a minute. I think I'll choose expanded offices instead for my upgrade. And an overview of all the cars, so it claims about a possible profit of 6,900 this and that dollars. Ooh, shysters. SL will be a hot seller in terms of price point, and the S-Type, ooh, damn, same thing, fool. You know, the others are like financial flops, in a way. Okay. So that's it for the Ueno Quartz at the Chunky Car Factory, and I also gotta build the Kokai at a new factory, which I'll start doing that in a little bit. Let's do the Tribal and the Tani. The Tribal will take 85 months right away with this current slider setup. The HU series still at 66, 39 with the GH, which is just a facelift, a version 2 with the 2.5 liter engine rather than the 2 liter engine. I'll probably do 80 months for the car, seeing that the Quartz will take right around this time, like 80-something months, like 81 months, I believe. So the HU series is all good. Now I gotta do the GH series. Yeah, restore the value of all the sliders and everything back to 50, except for 51 on the reliability. And right away, we got the engine factories overworked as of right now. What if we do a large 2? There we go. Large 2 will probably do for the engines at the Frunia tooling plant. And August 1987, the engine of the GH series will be done. Not that bad for the version 2 model with the 2.5 liter. And Tribal will go to its same place at the Nutty assembly plant. And what the hell? Do I have to add the GH series engine? So SE, X, L, R S-Type. Good. Don't have to do any, I think I'll still probably upgrade. Yeah, to improve, not improve, but one improve, and this will probably have to be a level 3, god damn it. We're good in the HU engines, but I think this has to be a freaking level 3 for the engine. Let me do this real quick. So I did upgrade the GH series to a level 3 for the engine factory. For the car factory, still overworked, so I have to keep this at a level 2 unless I have to do some major overhauls with my shifts, which I really can't do so. And what's added expanded office, and this will be very close to matching with the GH series engines, but improve the HU engines. The Tani, I'm not really worried about getting this done like super duper McCooper fast, but it would probably take, let's see, 60 months, which is 5 years. I'm not gonna worry about it. So I'll keep everything as is for the engine. Damn, 60 months probably because we're using like multi-point and different throttle setups and everything. Go to vegan tooling plant for the Mark II of the engine here. I think I'll probably give this one more go to create the EK Mark II engine at the vegan tooling plant, and for the future, create a new factory to house the new K-car engines for like the EK series or whatever, and retrofit vegan tooling plant with like the sports level engines like high-end V6s, i6s, or whatever for our JDM car company. In February of 1989, the engine will be done. And for the Tani, adding SE, XL, RS, we're still in a healthy margin of our production load. So, what are we at in terms of car production? 5,200 cars produced. I'll do a large one. Are we good? Damn! Still damn. Represent all the gangsters across the world, still getting the lows, girl. Now for the Ueno Kokai, which will have to build a new car factory. What will be a new wacky-ass factory to go in line with Frunia and my car factory naming agenda. In line with Frunia... Is that how you spell it? I think it's how you spell fruitarian. Ah, I'm missing an I. Fruitarian. Fruitarian. Yes, that's it. That's how you spell fruitarian. This might be overkill. I do not know. Interior limited production. Is it because of the top of the line E-type? Yes, interior luxury. Ah, I see. So no cars selected, assuming nothing is selected. The GH series is damn near going to overtake if I put a expand office, not because I have nothing selected. So SE. HU is going to be overworked. The SX. HU is still going to be overworked. SL. Both are overworked. E-type. Both are damn near overworked. If I put a factory 2, they will be overworked. So starting for now... Oh, god damn, we are in line. Yo! That is the hardest line ever. The GH and HU engines are like damn near... Look at that. They're damn near in line with the matching load in terms of shifts and everything. And now for the forecasting tool, which will apply with the... I mean, this seems relevant for the E-type, but maybe a little bit less in price. How about this setup? So 205 first year. We're not going to be making any money off this minivan. It's going to be like the frickin' Ueno Kokai. It's going to, like the compact truck. It's going to be a terrible money maker, but eventually at the end of the lifespan, it'll start to make money by then. I definitely got to look into this. Well, let's just up this to a 10, and let's just tenfold all the others. Except for keeping the E-type as is. So 333, 144, the rest, you know the drill. I don't know. I'm going to be losing money. What if I click this? 7,000. It wants me to make dirt cheap on this car. Are you kidding me? This is probably going to be a lost car to experiment the minivan market and all that stuff in this country, as well as other countries, too, that are willing to buy this car. 2002. 107 months! I thought I thought I had the opportunity to customize this, but I think I skipped all over this. Jesus Christ, for 300 SRT8. So I don't want to sacrifice too much of this car, so let's do 89.9 months of engineering time, which was a base value of 115 months. Jesus Christ, man. So not a whole lot of sacrificing per se, and look at that, 207. Oh, wow, because what? The car's going to come out sooner? It's going to be more relevant in the market, or what? So, the year of 2001, July 2001, the van, the Ueno Kokai, will be done, which will also probably put the Quartz, Tani, and everything else by this time to release in line with the Ueno Kokai. You can't just release the Quartz and then the Tani and then eventually the Kokai. They will all be released as one package. When this is done, as well as the other cars being done first, and then this car will be done and everything else will be released along with it. So we're going to have to wait. Let me check the other. Still have to be waiting up until 2001 for all the cars to be done. So September 2000, the Tribal will be done. But forecasting wise, the forecast tool. What the hell? 47,000 more than the S-Type. This is a joke, man. There you go. There you go. So I'm going to increase this to 1029 for the base. 13, let's do 14.5. 1999 for the SL. The SR will be 24.0. And 32.5 for the SL. Or the S-Type, top of the line. So 52 mil. We could probably do a little bit better to make profit first year. I think I'll settle with these prices, so a micro loss in the first year, probably because of engine upgrades to the factories and everything, but making hella good profit year 2 and throughout and so on with the Tribal. So sign off on this car, yes, for September 2000, and let's go on to the next car. So April 2000, still the same thing with the Tani. And no wild discrepancies except for the S-Type. Well, the premium SL and the SR cheaper than the S-Type and cheaper than the SL. This doesn't make any sense, Mr. Winkle. It claims loss here, so 32.2 first year. That is way more like it. I'm McLovin' it. I'm McLovin' it, McLovin'. Yeah, I'm good with the price out the Tani, so final car, the Quartz. And by November of 2000, this car will be done, but unfortunately... Oh my god, 600 negative... That's a little bit too much, my friend! And look at the loss calculator. Shysters, man. What if I drop this? 57, 30... Let's do 35. And then I'll do the others right here. 8. No, don't make it that cheap. You know what I mean, man. You know my kind. Alright. 680 negative, this current price point. Okay, we recovered in our future months and a mid loss like the Tribal because of probably the engine upgrades and all that stuff. It's going to take this in factor. Talk about factory cost inclusion. So tooling cost and engineering cost is the factor. How about factory cost? It's not doing it. Oh, got to calculate. So what will this include? I never did this before, adding the factory cost. Yeah, but we're gonna make it back-ish by year 2 and big buck over time, which this is how really car companies really work, just lose some and then really win some over time, yeah? It's either I gotta be start being more aggressive in my pricing than being so pessimistic, or what, because I don't want to make it too expensive for dealers to the point that customers and dealers alike will not really consider this car being so expensive for dealers and customers alike that it'll just turn away and not really make much of a profit doing so, and it'll have less dealers buying the car for it being too expensive to purchase. I think I'll take the risk of a $91 million loss first year if it holds true, so sign off on the Quartz and not take out a loan, and we should be good, right? Engine's good, car's good, engine's good. we're all good. So total projected cost, $5.78 billion, but we're at $9.03 billion of a $96.3 million income of the month, I think this month of January 1984. So no loan, sign off, and we're gonna be waiting out a long-ass time to, it's gonna be in line with the Kokai. Yes, it will be. So this will be, instead of being a 2000-year model for the Quartz, as I thought it would be, this will be a model year 2002, with the Quartz, Tani, the Tribial, and the Kokai. Just over 7 years of engineering time with everything here. Sheesh. So let's advance, and I'll fast forward until something else happens. So 8-ish, I thought it was at $9 billion. Did $100 million go away? I think it did. It's over $100-something million, so I'm gonna just go fast forward to the point where either A, something bad happens to our factory, or B, we get to the point where the cars are gonna be released. So take you till something happens. Ah, look at that. The Tribial, the Quartz, and I believe the Tani, they're gonna be out of production. So look at our finances. We got way less profit because these two are outgoing, out of service models, 134 mil. Ueno Tani, please do your job, as all of the factories are shut down for retooling for the engine factories as well as the car factories. Oh, soon the car factory will be for the Tani, just 3 months. So the Tani will have to do its job for a little bit until we eventually get to the point where we are going to be back in the green. So are you kidding me? 18, I got the money. Like, why? $18 million? The frickin' factory's damn near perfect. How about the other factory? Like, whatever. This factory, retooling costs, pay for this. Retooling costs, pay for that, I swear. It's like, we ain't got nothing yet, so slow the hell down. So this is September. No, god damn it. I said September. This is July. And August. Negative 148. 242 million. Here we go. This is how you make money, children. And into September, 400 million. Oh, damn, this is a big upgrade and a big ass investment that paid out well. 300 million, so it'll probably plateau a little bit. The car's selling like hotcakes, and yeah, you know the drill. So let's take it up to the next produce is screwed up. Ooh, we got ourselves a small issue of the FZ series engine. This is what happens when you play the sliders a little bit too much. So small chance discovery, 29%, and a small issue with the engine, but it's very difficult to fix. It affects for the 87,349 engines that had this happen with the recall. I guess let's issue a quiet-ass recall. I mean, it's not a major deal, but it's a concern for some people. So take up to January of 2002, and we'll end it off to drive the cars at BeamNG to see how they are in that game. 200 million. Produce and Cranky are being overworked all of a sudden. This was never like this, man. Well, because of frickin'... Now Cranky is overproduced. Is it because, what, worker quality issues for it being a new factory or some discrepancies and all that stuff? But how do I look into that with the engine factory? Factory manager? Like, how do I check for... How do I check for this? The, like, engine factory overwork production thingy. Not too sure, but let's get like an idea of the finances before we jump over to BeamNG Drive. So the Ueno Kokai, the minivan, so 4,840 cars being produced, which is, well, delivered, which is a absolute mid. Damn, the E-Type is 114. Well, this is a more of the luxury, like, less limited produced model, which is understandable for it being so low of deliveries and sales and all that stuff. The Ueno Travel, okay, this is understandable. The base level SE is at 4,600, 3,600 SX, SL28, SR13, 309 S-Type. The Tani, 800, 2014. The SR is doing more than the SX and the SL, and almost on par the SE. Really? Is it because how I marketed this car, or what? As a fun car. And the SE Quartz for the 100 almost, 3770. SL and SX are in line. The SR is not doing so good. S-Type, understandable-ish at 700, doing more than the Tribial at 309 compared to 695. Not too bad. So is this where oh, that's factory 100%. So it's just simply at 100%. It's not like it's being overworked, but they are at its damn limit. And the FC series at 29, GH 13.5, EK series 60.1. So everything's healthy except for the HU series being at its limit. A brief breeze in our finances, so we got ourselves expenses $6.71 billion of a revenue of $7.58 billion, $3.5 go to car production, $1.2 billion in engine production. The factory, $493.4, car factory construction, $790, and other $124 mil. Revenue, the Tribial 2 doing pretty well at $2.3 billion, Quartz Gen 4, $3.1 billion, the Tani, $794.8 million, which I gotta upgrade its damn factory to a large or something like that. The Kokai at $1 billion, the Tani Gen 1, $197.6 million, interest, $197.1 million, so interest and the Gen 1 Tani are about the same. So now, let's take all four of the cars, the Quartz, Tani, Tribial, and Kokai, on over to BeamNG Drive to see, particularly the S-Type or high-end like performance model of all four of the cars, to see how they drive in there in BeamNG. So let's take you over there right now. So here we are at the bottom map of the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and for the time trial runs we'll be doing, it's going to be all one lap around the Grand Prix circuit, the short version, and we'll be starting off with the Ueno Kokai, the, oh my god, in its Chrome E-Type, Chrome E-Type gore that we got going here with this car that we're going to be starting off with for our first time trial run. So let's get ready to start things off here. In 3, 2, 1, go. Launch at 1500 RPM, and let's do an interior view for the heck of it because, well, I'm on my wheel, which I've upgraded to a Thrustmaster TGT2, seeing that, let's see, 0.62 and 9.44 seconds, not too bad, and I was about to be saying for my wheel is that, well, I have upgraded from a Thrustmaster, let's see how good we got going here. But goddamn that kickdown. But I have upgraded from a Thrustmaster TGT2 that I'm running right here from a Thrustmaster T150, even though I haven't used that wheel in a while because that wheel was starting to fail on me, which was my first ever wheel I got from back around COVID time, around like early 2021, which was pretty much my real start for the sim racing genre and all that stuff, getting used to that wheel. But it seemed like over the past several months, I think it was the motor or the belt that was screwing over me for a while to the point where the force feedback was very weak, like all of a sudden. And I recently shelled out like almost $800 for this TGT wheel that will be used from now on for BeamNG and especially for my upcoming video in the PSVR 2 tryout, and especially now, like the day I made that post, where I was awaiting for my PSVR 2's official PC adapter like thingy to play the PSVR 2 on PC games like BeamNG, Assetto Corsa, and so on. But now seeing I got that coming in the mail coming in the next couple of days, I'll probably first go off with the PSVR 2 try it out on PlayStation, and then after that trying it out here on BeamNG Drive to be one of the first, well, not first people, but the very few people to try out a PSVR 2 on BeamNG. So coming up to the line here, it's going to be a meager time because, well, this is more of a luxury vehicle, not a sports vehicle. 2 minutes, it's a 2:16, so a real time of 2 minutes, 16 seconds, 860 milliseconds, which currently puts us in first place at the moment. So let's change up the configuration, and let's do the Tani, the K car. Alright, so for the second car, the Ueno Tani, the wannabe Daihatsu, and an interesting-ass front and everything. This is the S-Type. Okay, I got it right here. The S-Type model of this car. I'm not going to be testing out the SR, SL, SX, SE, and so on. Just, what the hell, this car only. 3, 2, 1, 5,000 launch. Not too bad. And go to an interior view, and okay, it's in real automatic gearbox. Well, it's manual, but in arcade mode. I believe this button, yes, takes me to realistic, but the gauges don't, whoopsies, work. Imagine the brake for the clutch pedal. Even though I got an automatic clutch on here, probably sooner or later, once I get a wheel and everything, is you roll over because of it being a hatchback and so on. God damn. I want to say, even though I'm willing to upgrade to a, like have an actual shifter on here rather than relying, what the hell? Just automatically putting the clutch in for me, seeing that I got the T LCM pedals with, of course, the gas, brake, and the clutch pedals, then I'm willing to put the, well, clutch pedal to use by trying out a manual shifter, preferably the TH8M or something like that, TH8, something like that, the metal, not the new one, I think it's a TH8A, the metal gear shifter, which unfortunately costs like $150 compared to the newer version. I think it's the TH8S, the more plastic version, the newer and more plastic version, which costs like 60% less compared to the TH8A, the metal manual shifter. Probably sooner or later, once you get more comfortable with the wheel setup and all that good stuff, especially with this wheel setup now, I'll switch on over to trying out a manual and trying out that accessory and make this a little bit more realistic per se and get better on manual gear shifting, driving, and all that good stuff. And I do know with the interior, I know you can have, like, let's say, the steering wheel, the speedometer, RPM gauges, like, all that stuff, like, actually function, which you gotta do, like, some, like, black magic with the, hold on, chicane here, with the, I believe the description or something like that to, like, direct what fixtures are, like, the ones that you want to select for it to move, like, behave like a RPM, like tachometer, the speedometer needle, the steering wheel, like, actually have that function, and so on with that car. Which I don't know how exactly that works out, but probably in the future, like, if I do know how to get that working, I'll probably try that out, like, sooner or later. So, time we get is a 2 minutes, almost a 28 seconds, 2 minutes, 27 seconds, and whatever seconds. 2 minutes, 27 seconds, 784 milliseconds, which falls behind the Kokai because, well, this is a 63 horsepower car despite being a nimble car, but I had to keep it a little bit easy to prevent it from tipping over because of it being so unstable with the high roller risk that you have to, like, put that, like, on the top or something like that, like on those, like, sunshades or everything like you see on SUVs and all that stuff. Now for a third car, I'll step it up with the Ueno Tribial. The last car I'll be trying out is the Ueno Quartz, which is going to be the remastered Ueno Quartz. I'll probably bring out the original one for the heck of it that I first made back in 2021 or something like that. So let's start off the time trial of the Tribial in 3, 2, 1, go. Wheel spin launch into second gear. Let's just do it. Shift it by itself. 0 to 62 in damn well 6 seconds. 5.8 seconds, 302 feet exactly. Not too bad. So, where will be my first braking marker? Let's brake here. Again. And dive down. Without... I gotta manually shift because, well, the beam and G upshift and downshift. Scraping sound effect has kicked in, yo. I would say the beam and G upshift and downshift is really going to be a thorn on my side. I will take that corner a little bit too fast and kind of recover there because, well, no signage, who even cares, says the frickin' track layout. And even on a side note with this wheel, even though I haven't really configured much with the force feedback and steering angle, because currently it's set to 900 degrees according to Thrustmaster on the little driver, like, configuration thingamajig. It's set to 900 degrees for the steering angle, which I believe can go up to 1080 or something like that, but the force feedback, I think I have to turn it up in the actual Beam and G game, but this feels a little bit weak, like the force feedback, because I'm not, like, getting a feel of this, like, car, like, right here, despite going off the road. I'm not really getting a feel of the car whatsoever, like, steering-wise. It seems like there's, like, it's too easy to steer this car. As you see there, 1 minute 54 seconds, 739 milliseconds, blowing the Kokai and the Tani off the water by almost a whole 30 seconds, a little over 30 seconds with the Tribial compared to the Tani. So with the Gen 4 Ueno Quartz S-Type. I'm not hearing an engine, like, whatsoever. Is the engine okay? I mean, here's a look at the car in its remaster glory with the wide seats. It's just quiet. Wow, that is so quiet. I was about to say the freaking wide seats. Is the circle button? No, it's not. But why is triangle binded to the menu? I didn't do that, right? Well, whatever. I'll configure that a little bit later. So, get ready to start here in 3, 2, 1, go. 5,000 RPM launch. Second gear we go. Into third gear. Into 0 to 62. About the same, 5.92 seconds at 321.84 feet. So, the Gentleman's Agreement Act of the Quartz and the Tribial perform very, very similar, despite this being an inline 6 engine. Well, despite that being an inline 6 engine and the Tribial it being a V6 engine. It's a 2.4 i6 and the Tribial is a 2.5 V6 engine. Without the Gentleman's Agreement Act, this engine, particularly if I want to bump it to a 2.7, probably make like 310 or 320 horsepower, and the Tribial, I'm guessing in the low 300s, like the Quartz. That is hot. If I have to, I'll probably use the freaking hood view if necessary. So, brake zone is here. Again. And again. Come down. The tire deflated! On a basic-ass curb? Okay, survive that corner. How about the rest? Let's see here. I know the car is rear-wheel drive compared to the front-wheel drive Tribial. Could have went a little bit ham there, but it's safe to say, at least, be a little bit safe than sorry and not overdrive the corner and risk of an oversteer and not push the car way too hard. And even when you countersteer, when I was going off that first curve, it seemed like the car wasn't even countersteering whatsoever. Like you're gonna wipe out and you try to countersteer to recover. It's like I didn't get that force feedback whatsoever. I think I have to somehow enable, not like enable, but configure force feedback in Beam and G to the point where I can get a feel of the car, and if I need to countersteer or just get a feel of the car in general, like steering wise, and know what the hell I'm doing, I'll configure that and make use of that. Because like I said, right now, I'm not getting a good feeling of the car. It's just B steering, like if it's like a T80, like a basic non-force feedback wheel, you know? And come up to the line. Damn, son, a little bit loose there. So in a 1 minute, 1:55, 1 minute 55 seconds, like a 200-something millisecond. 1 minute 55 seconds, 260 milliseconds. Ooh, look at that. Damn near on par with the Tribial. I guess front-wheel drive lives matter rather than rear-wheel drive. I think probably because I was a little bit timid on the corners with it being a rear-wheel drive car, the Quartz, than it being front-wheel drive with the Tribial, but performs similarly, I'll give you that, but you could probably blame a little bit my driving and maybe the lack of the wheel settings of it not being, like, better with the force feedback to make myself a little bit of a better driver and anticipate the car a little bit better, you know? Now, for the final car, let's bring back the OG Ueno Quartz S-Type, the 1995 car, I believe, right? Alright, so here is the OG Ueno Quartz S-Type from 2021 under my Mr. Jack and 000 days, with the S-Type badging being freaking huge. Still got these side reflectors, big ass S-Type badging, and with this version of the car, they got the Ueno badging on the rims, but they do not move whatsoever. It's just static in place. In the front of the car, well, the headlights seem janky. Yeah. In the interior, can I get in? Oh, I gotta do some black magic with the, well, let's just say do here. Basic seats. Yeah, that was an interior back in the day in the original automation. So start things off with the OG Ueno Quartz in 3, 2, 1. Turbo lag? Yeah, you can see here, we're gonna turbocharger kicks in at 30,000 RPM. 0 to 62 in 6.53 seconds, but at least with this car here, it's still within the Gentleman's Agreement Act with the horsepower rating. Brakes suck. Wow, I got a break earlier. I was to say, this is still in the Gentleman's Agreement Act in terms of horsepower and automation, but in Beam and G, wow, it's at 267 brake horsepower. And the turbo lag is just kind of embarrassing because the turbos were... You gotta really know what you're doing with turbos in that version of the game, but at least now, and especially with the Alroma update, aka the Supercharger update, they plan with that version is to make the tire again. Superchargers, they're gonna add those and make turbochargers much better than they are in the current version of automation. And you can see too, 0 to 62 is in the mid 6s, that being at around 6 seconds flat roughly, depending on how you launch the car, both this car and the Tribal. And coming to straightaway, we're not even close to beating either the Tani, not the Tani, but the Tribal or the Modern Escort. So a 1 minute, 57 seconds, 736 milliseconds, which puts us, hey, look at that, almost exactly 3 seconds slower to the Tribal. Wow. So about 2 seconds, 997 milliseconds away from tying the Tribal, and it misses out on the modern version of the Quartz S-Type by a little over 2.5 seconds, because this car is a little bit understeery in some parts, and the turbo lag is just a joke. So now let's go to the menu here, and still in slow motion, let's bring this bad boy down. Let's see here, let me find something. How about instead of a ramp, when the Car Jump Arena 2024 paid version of this mod map here, I believe there is, yeah, Seagull Flying Days, where there is still a ramp, but you launch yourselves as far as you can into the water and crash out into the water rather than down the ramp and all that stuff. So switch it up and take it to this part of the map in the ramp as hell goes on the background right now. So here we are at Car Jump Arena at the Seagull section here of this big ass. It's just gonna be like a drastic ramp that you normally see right off to the side here that we normally go with this version of the game. Well, of this map here, this modded map. So let's launch the SR version of the Tribal, and then we'll kick things off with the Ueno Tani, the SR version of that car, the SL of the Kokai, and the SL of the Quartz. So first run with the Tribal, go. Rev that bad boy, and second gear we go into a downhill third gear in the mid 6s, but the little downhill is pretty much what's making the car perform quote unquote better. Look at that, 130, 140 miles an hour, 150, 160. That's my kind of numbers right here, even though it's illegal in terms of the Gentleman's Agreement Act in Japan, but I didn't want to limit my top speed because it wouldn't be that fun doing so. So, a speed of 140 something miles an hour. What is my slow motion on here? I gotta check this out. Whoopsies, I just discovered freaking force feedback. So 350 meters is where we land up to. Engine's flooding with water. Who even cares about that, shawty? Engine's flooding. There's some fish. Engine's broken. Engine's hydrolocked. I don't care. So 350 meters, there's the 400 marker, so we didn't get to 400, so 350 it is with the Ueno Tribal. Next, with the Ueno Tani, let's line up pretty much where it was at. It's a front-wheel drive car, so launch it here. Very slowly, with the 660cc K-car engine. First gear, gear 2, 30-something miles an hour. Going to a downhill, will improve at 0 to 62 drastically in a 17.91 seconds, 582.31 feet. That was its not RPM, but speed limit around 80 miles an hour, because K-cars, like I think I mentioned in the video earlier, is they have a speed limit in real life, as well as you do in real life, and all that stuff. I did it with the Gen 1 Tani, same thing with this guy here. And we're gonna do speed 90 miles an hour, so okay, that is slow motion. Ha! So, engine is started oil. What? We're going to be shy of 200 meters, so into the water we go at 170 meters. That's the hit. Backflip. let's say 166, 67 meters. We just touched a 70 block, but we're just shy of it. Now the Ueno Kokai, and it's all-wheel drive SL Gore, not the E-Type that I driven earlier at the Nürburgring, so accelerate. With the base 2.5 V6 engine, and all-wheel drive, which is surprisingly, let's see here. Right a downhill stretch, but the 0 to 62 with this car, and which was my intended competitor, the Honda Odyssey, is that the 0 to 62 on the Odyssey claims around 11 seconds with the 3.5 liter V6 engine, but this is a 2.5 V6 making, well, way less horsepower, a little bit less horsepower, like 60, 70 horsepower less, and has a less of a displacement, 122 miles an hour, so less displacement, less power, and still has a better 0 to 62 than the frickin' Odyssey. So there's the 300 mark. We're going to be off-centered, so hit at 290, engine's flooding with water. Slow motion, 300. It didn't say 300, so 298, I guess. Now, the SL Quartz with the basic 2.4 i6 engine. Accelerate. I believe this is front-wheel drive, not the rear-wheel drive models found on the SR as well as the SM. I believe this car is rear-wheel drive. I don't know. I forgot. Here we go at the ramp. The speed. 135. And we are prepping to do a freaking backflip. Gonna be past the 300 marker. Gonna be in between. Here's the 340. The tribal. And past the tribal, but it's a 360. Now we're at 350. God dang it. So, pretty much. Huh? Come on, man. Say, why put the little freaking action crash camera there? After structure vehicle, we got the rear of the vehicle all jacked up with the Quartz. Next is the Tribal. Hello, fishies. And Mr. Tribal has the wheels still spinning at 95 miles an hour with turn signal on. We got the exterior of the vehicle, the frame and everything, well, mainly the shelling of it, is all bent up. The rear is okay-ish and jacked up either way, including the frame. The Tani has a wheel right here that is still spinning. Huh? Why are you spinning, bruh? You're inside the rear door, for crying out loud. The frame is hella exposed, including parts of the fixtures for the interior being all sharp and jagged and a lethal weapon that you could register at the ATF and everybody else in general. The front end is also jacked up. And lastly, the Kokai that's upside down. The frame of the vehicle is okay, and the damage in general, rear's okay. A-pillar is bent up, including some of the roof line, and seems okay all around and suffered the least damage compared to all the other 3 cars that I've launched off the ramp. So with these 4 new cars for Ueno, starting with the Kokai, it's a decent minivan with ample performance that gets the job done. Whether you have the 1.8 liter or 2 liter 4-cylinder engines or the 2.5 V6 engine, it's good enough to haul 7 passengers to go from point A to point B, from the basic SE trim to the luxurious E-Type level. The second car, the second-gen Ueno Tani, with its interesting wannabe Daihatsu move type of styling, it's an excellent K car for any budget. You can get the less powerful 33 horsepower engine, or ante up with the 63 horsepower S-Type variant. Be aware, it has a high tendency to roll over if you decide to push it too far. The third car, the second-gen Ueno Tribal, it's an excellent carryover from the previous generation that has the bigger V6 engine option. It boasts more power and practicality for those willing to haul anything and tow most trailers without any major drawbacks. With the twin-turbo S-Type model, you can take this to the track and ferociously debate why this front-wheel drive wagon is a great track day weapon to feud against rear-wheel drive people you encounter. Finally, with the 4th-gen Ueno Quartz, This particular model has been nearly 4 years in the making. This remastered version of this car from the Mr. Jack and 000 days has significantly improved all round. From the turbocharger, the handling, brakes, and so on, this car is much more fun to drive, and it's a bit quicker than the last version, which was made back when exporting cars to BeamNG was fairly new back in the day. As I mentioned in the video, I plan on introducing a couple of new sports-related vehicles to our lineup, seeing that all my cars will either be front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, except for those 2 future sports cars. So anyways, that'll do it with Automation's Light Campaign version 4.2 and BeamNG Drive. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future. So this is TRIZE Rising Up, and signing out.